Hello, welcome to my second episode of this podcast. This is Virgil Boone, your host. It sounds like Boo now, not later. I am a photographer based in Charleston. Again, welcome to episode 2, Conversations Over Sweet Tea. This is our second episode, and my team and I are still learning to navigate the world of podcasts, so it is definitely an uncharted, uncomfortable territory for me. Like that motorcycle in the background, like I don't know how we can get rid of that, but my background is being behind the camera and behind the scenes, observing, documenting, and not necessarily creating. So the world of podcasts and YouTube is definitely something I'm still trying to get used to. So there's a YouTube version of this podcast if you want to watch it on video. There's also we have a channel on YouTube, so head on to that YouTube channel, search Virgil Bunao, which is Bunao, and hit subscribe. The subscribe button should be a little red button on the upper right corner. All right, so I have a wonderful guest today. My guest today is the amazing Natalie Knox, and I hope I don't butcher her position, but I believe she's the director of sales.
Wedding and event specialist. But
Wedding
that sounds more official, so we can go with that.
There you go. Wedding and event specialist at Boone Hall Plantation. So Boone Hall is one of the most beautiful wedding venue in the United States. I love shooting at Boone Hall. This is where gazillionaires and celebrities like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds flock to get married. Natalie is a Georgia alumni.
Go Dogs.
And she has a degree in business, and this week is her 5th anniversary at Boone Hall.
I know.
5th year anniversary. That's insane. So she plans, coordinates, designs 15 to 20 weddings for Boone Hall. She also has lots of stories and insights to share. So I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time and let her tell the story. So everyone, let's welcome Natalie Knox.
Hooray! So happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, girl.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm
Happy
excited.
5th year anniversary.
I know, it's crazy. Time flies when it's like never a dull moment over there at Boone Hall. So
Are they going to give you like a helicopter or an airplane?
I know. I was like, I should get like a little house here, right?
I know.
I feel like I live there already. So
You do kind of like, I feel like you're there all the time. I don't know what else can you do? I mean, do you even do when do you do laundry? Like you work there.
I don't know. Now with the bridge being closed, I basically don't. So
And that's crazy about that bridge. I was just watching that this morning. So here's how this works. So I'm still trying to learn this whole process of podcasts and all that stuff. And basically, I just want to have a conversation with you over sweet tea and snacks. And I always see you at weddings and we're working. And it's like, I feel like we don't really get to sit down for a good 30 minutes to an hour and just talk and chat. But sometimes we go out and party and stuff like that with the rest of the wedding industry people. But that's like once a year. So we got you some sweet tea. Thanks, Chick-fil-A.
thank you.
And then the whole thing revolves around sweet tea and weird food.
All right, let's do it.
So I know you're like, out of all the people I know, you're like game to try anything. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we got here.
Okay.
And I just left it in a package too. So the first one, this is grilled octopus.
Ooh, I love grilled octopus.
You do?
It's
Oh,
one of my
nice.
favorite things.
All right. So I got one for you and I
I'm
got
ready
one
to-
for me.
Hooray!
Cool.
Oh my gosh.
And then I got this shumai, which is shrimp wasabi shumai in there. Have you had shumai before?
I have not, but it
Oh,
looks
dude, it's so
like
good.
something I would like.
It's so good. It is so good. So it is 12:30 right now, so it's lunchtime. So that's what we're gonna do. I try to schedule these things around eating time. So this is mango with sticky rice and
Ooh.
cream, and you're supposed to eat it. You're supposed to put ice cream somewhere on the side and eat it
Ooh,
with
so
ice
that's
cream.
our dessert.
Yes.
Why is it green?
Good question. I'm not used to green rice, so this is uncharted right here for me territory because I'm used to seeing white, sticky steamed rice.
It's gotta be like infused with like basil or something.
Something, yeah. So that,
Yum.
yeah. So that's yours, and this is mine. And I
Ooh,
think
hooray!
we have a overhead camera. Okay, cool. We have an overhead camera that can see all this. So yeah,
Yay!
Let's so there's you know what? We didn't bring
Yeah.
chopstick.
That's
But you know what? Filipinos, we don't eat chopsticks with
use my
chopsticks.
hands.
Yeah, we use hands or spoon and fork. Actually, we don't really use knives. We use knives for weapons, but
Casual.
casual. So you should try.
Okay.
Let's try this.
Sounds good.
Let's try that. So that's the sauce. That's the
Right,
sauce
I'm just gonna
here.
dig right in.
Yeah, dig right in and yeah, and let me know what you think. It's got wasabi in it, so
A little spicy.
yeah.
It's delicious.
I'm gonna get actually. Do you need some paper towel? I'm such a boy. There's like Josh. There's like silverware in there with paper towel. I think. Just throw it to us. Oh, sweet,
So
man.
good.
You're the man. I just need one. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, boys we don't really think about these things sometimes. We just eat with our hands and feet and just
It's all right.
shove it in our mouths. What do you think?
10 out of 10. Delish.
So I'm just gonna keep letting you just dig in and
Okay.
try the whatever. You gotta try that now.
Okay.
And try this
What
one
kind
more
of
time.
sauce is with this?
Mm.
Guess I'll use my fork now.
You can use your hands.
It doesn't taste grilled to me.
Is it chewy?
It's a little, but I mean,
On the menu it says grilled octopus, but
doesn't taste grilled, but it's good.
well, I'm glad you like that. That's some people don't like grilled octopus or octopus period.
There's not much I don't eat, so
You don't like pig's ears, I remember.
I did not like them. That was the first time I've ever had them.
But you tried it. No, this is something weird here that you got to try before the ice cream melts. So basically,
let's do it.
you have to, and whenever you're ready, you just
I'm
dig
ready.
in. And ignore the cameras around. Yeah. So this podcast, while you're eating, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. I don't really have any vision or goals or anything. I just want to... this is rubbery. I just want to be able to like spend some time with friends of mine and family. And
Really good.
what'd you think about that?
So good.
Is that weird?
I think it's lime rice. Or it's almost like I don't know, maybe like a sorbet. I don't know. It's delicious.
What do you think about like? Oh, you got to pour some of the cream, maybe.
Oh man, I forgot that part.
Yeah. Like
I can't put my
yeah.
my foot on the flavor of that rice.
I didn't even ask you if you have food allergies, but
I don't.
oh, good,
All good.
good, you're good.
I got here and I was like, I'm allergic to
To everything.
everything.
I know.
Oh my God, that
Yeah, I
made
should
me
even.
sick.
I should have asked you. Sorry.
No, I think you would have known by now.
I know. Like we've gone to several meals together. So what do you think about the warm rice, cold ice cream, and
That's something I could eat every day for sure. And the mango, I love mango. It's like my favorite fruit. So
have you been
great.
Asia before?
it's on my list.
It's on your list.
I think I'd like it.
I think you would not want to come back. I think if you go to like China and Hong Kong and Thailand.
Anytime I go on vacation, I don't want to come back. So
Oh yeah.
it's like you get depressed coming back from vacation because it's just like back to the real world.
I know.
So I must need a vacation when I get back from vacation to ease back into work.
When do you even go to vacation? I'm gonna dig in right here on this shoe, mine. It's so
Summer.
good.
My next one's in July, so I'm counting down the days.
Where you going?
Croatia and in Spain. So I'm excited.
Did you get the ticket again from Scott's? I subscribed to that now after you told me.
Yeah, no, this time we actually didn't.
Who's
Because
we?
it's really hard. Me and my friend Lindsay, that's my travel buddy. It's really hard to get summer flights to Europe. Like,
Because parents like me like to take kids during the summer, and we drive up all the costs.
right, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's tough to get summer flights for that cheap. But
Oh,
so unfortunately not. But we still got really good deals. So we just kind of stalk the flights and wait till we get a good one.
oh, oh. Well, that's fun. What's in Croatia?
We're going to this little island called Hvar. So it's like right off, it was about an hour outside of Split, Croatia. So
I've never heard anybody go to Croatia.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's beautiful.
So
I mean, like crystal
island?
blue waters. Yeah. Well, the place we're going to is an island. Yeah. So it's like where all like the young people go. So it's going to be very fun and upbeat. So
Old people like me don't belong there.
yeah. I'm sure there's families there.
You always bring you always like go to these places where, like, where'd you go? Ibiza?
Yeah. So we're going back to Ibiza as well at the end of that trip.
I've never heard of Ibiza until like some rapper was rapping about it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Same.
okay, somebody told me they went to Ibiza. So
yeah, that's it's really fun too. So
man,
definitely for the young peeps out there.
that's something for me to look forward to when Claire gets older. She's like, Dad, I'm gonna go to Ibiza.
Yeah.
Can you give me some money?
You need lots of money. It goes fast over there. So
I bet.
I have to spend all year saving for this trip. So
Wow, you work hard, you hustle, so you deserve it.
work hard to play hard.
So keep eating, and
Okay.
I'm just gonna keep asking questions and shove food in my mouth while I go through this notes.
Perfect.
So how I'm going through this note. Let's see. I went through the food. Okay, got it. All right. So just to start off with, I want to touch on wedding planning. I want to touch on Boone Hall. I want to touch on maybe some tips and advice you can give brides. Some advice and actionable tips that you can give photographers and vendors, things like that. And then, so before we start doing that, tell us a little bit about like your background. I know you emailed it to me, but I wanted I'd rather just have you tell the story. So you said in college you did some things, and take it away.
So I actually started event planning just kind of by accident, really. When I was in high school, I worked for a country club there, and they just kind of were like, Natalie, do you want to help us like plan our member guests like golf tournaments, which is like their biggest weekend there? And I was like, yeah, that sounds really fun. So I found myself like helping design the layout, picking the food to serve, and I was like, wow, I really like this. So when I went to Georgia, I got a job at the country club there and kind of was doing the same thing. And then later on in college, I ended up interning for a full service catering company. So we did, the catering, we did planning, we did design, florals. It was like a full service company. So I was there about 2.5 years, ended up getting promoted to an assistant wedding planner. And then I was very fortunate to apply for the Boone Hall job while I was still in college. And I graduated on a Friday and started work at Boone Hall the following Wednesday.
So were they recruiting in Georgia, or how'd you know about Boone Hall? And I mean, you're from Spartanburg,
Right.
South Carolina, which is like upstate.
Well, I knew I wanted to move to Charleston. That's where I always wanted to end up because I grew up coming down here and just loved it. And so I just was looking for jobs, and my degree's in insurance. So I was looking for insurance jobs as well as an event planning job. Event planning was definitely what I wanted to stay in, but insurance was my fallback if I couldn't find a job. So I just stumbled across the Boone Hall job, and I remember applying for it. I was like, there's no way I'll ever get this job, but I can just at least apply for it. And then I got a call for an interview, and I was like, oh my gosh, Boone Hall just called me. And I was actually already going down there for an insurance interview, so I was like, I'll be there tomorrow. And
And at this time you were still in Athens, or you were back in Spartanburg?
No, I was still in Athens. So I was. They actually offered me the job a couple weeks before graduation. So I was probably one of the few that had a job like secured before graduating. So
Holy cow!
So they ended up waiting for me, and it worked out, and been there ever since. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it worked out really, really well.
It's fun. So you brought that up because towards the end, I'm going to ask you some tactical advice for new graduates because this is May and it's graduation month, and so if I forget, remind me to ask you that. I want to go through my little notes here, and so that's awesome. Got a job right out of college. You didn't have to stress out about what you're going to do and living in your parents' basement.
Exactly.
So that's pretty cool. So tell me, so Boone Hall is how big?
So originally it was 3,000 acres when it was founded in 1681. Today it's about 736 acres. So through the years, through eminent domain and unfortunately divorce, it's become a lot smaller. So, but we are still a working farm. So way past like the plantation side where most visitors are, that's what they see, we're still a working farm. So we grow all kind of fruit, produce that we sell to local grocery stores and restaurants. So They say it's the longest working farm and plantation. It's been, doing farm stuff since, for the past 300 years. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
I don't know a lot of farms in the Charleston metro area.
Yeah. And now, way back then, we were probably so far the furthest thing out, and now we're like central Mount Pleasant because of how much Charleston's grown. So we do, like right now we have you pick strawberries. You can come pick your own. Soon we'll have blueberries, peaches,
So that's
tomatoes.
in May, strawberries in May, and then
Strawberries are April, May, blueberries in June, blackberries and peaches in July. And then sometimes we'll have a summer crop of tomatoes too. So
that's pretty awesome. So as far as the event and wedding industry and things like that, why do you think people are choosing Boone Hall? What's so special about Boone Hall?
So I always say that Boone Hall is the best of both worlds. Like you come in, you have that mile-long avenue of oaks, which is like one of a kind. I mean, I still get chills driving down that road, and I've been there for 5 years. So it's just like you come in and you get that like really traditional Southern plantation feel with the main house and the gardens and the avenue. But then, the Cotton Dock, which is our most popular venue, is down on the water. It's kind of the rustic barn, like literally on the water. So you get kind of that coastal vibe too. So I really feel like it's a nice combination of that Southern plantation feel, but also that kind of fun coastal vibe as well. So,
Yeah, I totally get the whole the beauty of it. It's just so beautiful. Every time I drive there, it's just like, man, I can't believe I work here. And then sometimes you take things for granted. But I'm there a lot, especially this year, photographing weddings, and then when you go to a different place, like a different town, a different city, it's like, man, we're spoiled in Charleston.
I know. I feel like it jades us a little bit.
Yeah.
We're so lucky.
We're so so lucky, and you've had quite some crazy events there. Like Blake Lively was there, had some weddings, and then Atlanta Falcons family were there. Tara Lipinski had an event there, and I'm sure you have some big things happening behind the scenes that you're not able to discuss right now.
It's literally never a dull moment. That's our motto, and it could not be truer. So it's really exciting stuff.
It's crazy how it's literally one of the top wedding venues in the country. How do you feel about that? You stay busy. You probably don't have a life.
Yeah. Honestly, it's so exciting, and like it's such an honor. Even though I don't own the plantation, it's just an honor to be a part of something like that. That's so sought after, and obviously it makes my job a lot easier. So I don't really have to go out and get business. It kind of comes to us, but it is such a high volume, and I think the hardest part is the dates. We do have limited dates. We wish we could do 1,000 weddings a year just to accommodate everyone that's interested in Boone Hall, but unfortunately, we can't. We do about 150 weddings a year because it's all the dates will allow us. So, but it's.
Well, they can get married on a Monday.
We have been surprisingly been doing so many Monday, Thursday weddings.
Yeah.
So, which I love, and it's such a beautiful property. I'm so glad that the owner's chosen to share that property with everyone and all of our brides. So I'm just happy to be a part of it.
It's awesome. It's So you're very busy. I don't know when you do your laundry, like I said earlier. I don't know what you do with your love life or family life, but you're literally there like 100 hours a week. It's crazy. So tell us what your day's like there, like on the Monday to Thursday. You showing people around, you meeting with people, what do you do?
So we always joke about Boone Hall. You come in thinking okay, I'm going to do A, B, and C today. Well, you get there and your whole day is gone out of whack because the horse got out and you're chasing the horse down the avenue. It got out of the stables, or everything that you could ever imagine happens at Boone Hall because we're open to the public during the day. So we do all kinds of tours and stuff. So we literally have hundreds of people, and we're a very small staff for such a big operation. So when someone trips and falls, I have to go out there and make sure they're okay and do all of that. But generally, my day would ideally I give venue tours. So sometimes, I'm giving 8 to 10 venue tours a day with newly engaged couples, very high
How
volume
many?
emails.
8?
Sometimes 8 to 10 a day.
In one day?
In one day. I get in like robot mode. I'm like, I can't remember if I said this already because I've said it so many times that it's like I black out and just like can give the tour now without even thinking about it. So
Holy cow. I didn't even realize that. When you have such a popular place like Boone Hall.
It's seasonal, engagements. Usually in the January is honestly my busiest month for inquiries and bookings.
And
because,
tours?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily. Well, yeah, for venue tours, yes. Because everyone just got engaged over the holidays. And then I'll have that again this summer, like around 4th of July. A lot of people get engaged around that time. So I'm always busy because it's booking season is busy and the off season for weddings. But then, as soon as booking season's done, it's wedding season. So it's always a trade-off. So there's literally never like a downtime. So
yeah, and then you have that wedding season that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I mean, last weekend was Mother's Day, and I think I saw you on your IG story that you were working a wedding.
Yep.
That's
Mother's Day.
Yeah. So, social media wise, and this is probably not part of our notes and script. If you want to follow Natalie, she runs Boone Hall Weddings.
I do.
So on Instagram, if you want to follow that, she once in a while or every so often she posts some beautiful wedding photos on there and some wedding IG stories on there as well. So follow her. So I'm going to ask you the next question. So I don't really see you slowing down on weddings. Why weddings? What do you love about weddings?
I find weddings incredibly rewarding. At the end of the wedding, once the bride and groom are about to, leave, and they're just like so happy and so thankful that you just helped to make, the biggest day of their life, helped make it go smooth and made them happy at the end. So, it's just, it gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling inside. So knowing that you helped to make that happen for them. So I think it's a rewarding kind of job. It's a lot of work, but at the end of the day, it is. So
I don't know how you guys do your work. And we've had some weddings, a lot of weddings together, and we've had those clients where they're just so happy and thankful. And but I don't really know how you guys do it. You have to almost piece together a bunch of puzzle and hope for the best. And then there's the weather factor, right?
Weather's the hardest part. But I actually had a bride a couple weeks ago. She we did send off, went through the sparkler. She got in her car and she asked for me. She's like, I want to say bye to Natalie. And that made me tear up. I was like, a bride's never wanted to say bye to me.
Right.
So I just thought that was so sweet. So
it speaks volume with what you do for them and the relationship that you build. Yeah. I mean, because it's like you're really literally your family for a year.
I know. Well, I just had one that got married a couple of weeks ago. We worked together for 2 years. And I was like,
she was engaged for 2 years.
2 years, because if you want a Saturday in the spring, you do almost have to book about a year and a half, 2 years in advance. So, we've worked together so long. We were all laughing. We're like, okay, we're just like friends at this point,
Right.
And I know I was like, I'll see y'all for coffee next week because we became so close.
Isn't there like somewhat like an anticlimactic towards after the wedding? It's like sad because it's like, man, like I'm part of this family, and then all of a sudden, all right, they kind of move on, and it's after the wedding. It's like, all right, bye.
I know, and I'm like, wait, I see y'all post on Instagram. Wait, what are you doing? Like, why don't I know everything that's going on in your lives? So yeah, definitely.
That's for me, actually, at the end of every year, it's like it makes me kind of sad because I look back, like right now, it's May 16th. Literally, the first quarter is gone, and then April is gone, and April was my busiest month with 6 weddings. And I was like, man, they just went by so fast, and I feel sad because I love all those couples, and it's kind of sad, but it's almost kind of bittersweet in a way because you have newer brides and clients and friends that you're working with for their wedding, and they're looking forward to it, and it's like, all right, on to the next one. But it's like, man, that's sad.
Yeah,
definitely. So what do you think is the most challenging part of being a wedding planner?
Like you really just have to have patience because it's very high pressure and it's high volume. It's I had a wedding a couple weeks ago, and it was like, one vendor shows up an hour late, the band shows up 2 hours late. It's so high pressure and so many moving parts. You just have to have incredible patience, and you have the bride arrives and needs this and that, and it's just a lot. You just have to just kind of work through it, keep your calm, and just solve problems consistently. So
yeah, I definitely understand that, because it's if you're not in the wedding industry, if you're if you see all these beautiful, it's so easy to see a lot of these beautiful images on Pinterest and on Instagram about beautiful weddings, but sometimes we forget to think about the behind the scenes, like how much work that was put together, how many people were involved, and how many meetings and phone calls and emails and decisions that happened to put together an event like that. And I couldn't do it. I'd probably just freeze, and I don't know how y'all do that. And sometimes there's other things that are beyond your control, or things that you can't really expect to happen, that happens, and then you have to kind of think on your feet and make decisions. So kudos to you and all the amazing wedding planners in Charleston. I think we're spoiled here in Charleston. I think we have the best wedding vendors here in Charleston.
Absolutely. We really do.
Yeah.
We have so many great vendors, and I just, when you work with the ones, over and over again, I work with the same vendors over and over again. Once I find, my favorite vendor for this, that, and that, it's just, we work together almost every weekend. So you get, it helps the process, because you all know how you work together and, what to expect and everything. So it really makes everyone's life easier. So,
yeah. So let's dig into this, whichever food you want to dig in again. I don't want it to. Yeah,
get
there
cold.
you go. Let's see. Get
I'm
colder.
gonna get another wasabi thing.
Isn't that good?
Yeah, it is really good.
It's awesome.
It's not as spicy as I thought it'd be.
I actually forgot my sweet tea in my desk. Do you think you can grab my sweet tea in my desk? Thank you so much. I'm wired here. I can't really move.
That's so good.
This is so good right here. I don't know what's so good about it, but I specifically asked for the wasabi version, because it's got that little kick. It's not really spicy, but like it's got wasabi in it, but kind of goes up to your nose and to your throat, and kind of weird.
Yeah, definitely a fan of wasabi.
What do you think about the mango and sticky rice?
I love it. I really do. I'm probably gonna eat that whole thing.
This is like my all-time favorite dessert. Seriously, like, it reminds me of like being in Asia, I think.
I just made a mess on your desk.
You're fine. You're fine.
I'll clean up after myself.
There you go. So yeah, this is normally white sticky rice, and I don't know what the green rice is. I have to call him and see what happened.
I can't put my hand on the flavor. What is that? Is it lime?
Coconut? No, coconut is the sauce. I think it's kind of like lime, maybe.
It's delicious.
So who's the best caterer in Charleston? I'm putting you on the spot. No, you don't have to.
I'm going to make a lot of probably people mad, but
don't answer that.
I mean,
don't answer that.
I can answer it. I don't care.
Okay.
It's fine.
All right.
I mean, my favorite's Crew Catering. I mean, they've been named best caterers for the past 17 years. It's for a reason. They're amazing.
John is awesome.
Love Zuck. He is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their presentation, their service. I mean, the quality of food. I mean, just everything. It's just it blows me away every time. I have had their food a million times, but it never ceases to amaze me.
And the staff's really nice.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, they're professionals.
They're professionals.
Mm-hmm.
They do thousands of events a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know how they do it. That's hard.
And they're incredibly flexible. For a wedding we have together, Anna Claire, in October, she's got this favorite cookie that I think is called Burger's Cookies out of Chicago, I want to say. Or I could be butchering this, but so it's this very specific fudge cookie that Crew's going to learn how to make and do a smaller version that we could do a play on, maybe a cookies and milk or something like that. So
holy cow.
I mean, they're just they're chefs over there, you know. They're not
Do you
cooks,
even
they're
know the chefs over there? I never know them. They're like the ninjas behind the scenes.
Yeah, Steve is, I think, their executive chef.
Really?
Yeah, and you would totally know him if you see him because he's there on site. You know,
What about
there.
If they have like 5 weddings that weekend?
Yeah. You see the person there at your tasting, you'll see on site at your wedding. So it's awesome.
Who's the best photographer?
Well,
I'm just kidding. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. We don't want people getting mad at you.
Okay. Okay.
What I was gonna ask? Kind of lost my train of thought there. That was just kind of like a curveball. Who's the best caterer?
Sorry.
All right. Oh yeah, new grad. So all right, this is the portion where I want to talk a little bit about new graduates. I'm getting some emails sometimes and some messages, DMs, and texts. Like, hey, I don't know what to do. I love photography. Hey, can I work under you? Hey, can I intern under you? What tactical advice, and in general, that you think they could use as far as if you just graduated college in Georgia or Clemson? Ooh, go Tigers! What can you tell them? What advice? What should they do?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about experience now. You know, I have found my most valuable resources that I've had going into any job is experience, not necessarily what I'm learning in the classroom. And it's more of a standard now that everyone has a degree. So it's not just the fact that you're getting a degree. Unfortunately, you know, now it's definitely a more competitive market. So it's all about experience. So it's just start early and start working. I know it's hard sometimes when you're 18 years old going to college, you don't know what you want to do yet. But if you think you have an idea, I mean, go out there, get an internship, you know, get a part-time job, do something, work in the summers, and get that experience, because that is, to me, invaluable. Is just, you know, working, just throwing yourself into that industry and being in the middle of it and working in it. And that's where you learn the most, in my opinion.
So basically, if you're a freshman in college, it's always probably your first step is figuring out what you want to do. That's just the hardest part. It's so tough,
right? And you just want to enjoy college, but unfortunately you do now. I mean, it's not enough that you have a degree anymore. You've got, even if you think you might have an interest, try it, see if you like it. If you do, continue it.
Just keep trying shit.
Just keep trying until you find something you like.
So just really deploy figuring out who you are, what you'd like to do, and then just keep trying it. Work for free, intern. Yeah. Try to get experience. Because you're right. I think when you get out of college, it's like you're competing with a bunch of other graduates out there.
I know. It's crazy.
And it seems like kids these days, they're so smart. Like, they process information fast. Like, I've got, like, young kids around me, and they're just so smart and resourceful. And it's so competitive.
It is. And we're actually, you know, hiring for a different position in our office right now. So we're going through resumes, and we do look to see that you have a degree, but honestly, we don't even really pay that close attention to what your degree is in. I mean, I'm an insurance major, that I'm a wedding planner, you know, so it's good to have that business background for sure, but you know, we mostly look at your experience and what your work experience is.
It's funny you said that, because I was telling somebody the other day, unless you're going to the medical profession, or you want to be an attorney or a nurse, or you basically, it doesn't matter what degree you want. It's about your portfolio, your experience. Now, if you want to be a doctor, obviously you got to have that credential and paperwork and all that stuff. But when nobody's looking at that anymore.
I know.
It's what you've done and what you're able to do for that company, right?
Definitely.
So definitely experience, definitely massive self-awareness and figuring out who you are and what you like doing, and then just keep trying shit. And that's
the best advice I can give.
And just work hard.
It is, yeah, definitely. You know, once you get there, you have to work hard if you want to continue in it and be good at what you're doing. I mean, you have to put in the time and you have to put in the effort. So
nobody really likes somebody who's lazy, right? Nobody.
No.
Yeah.
No,
that's
absolutely not.
Big turnoff.
Yeah.
Let's switch gear towards. So, what about advice towards brides that you are? You know, you're like the bride's whisperer. So,
can I put that on my business card?
Yeah, bride's whisperer title. Wedding.
I love that.
Yeah, what bride's whisperer or mother of the bride whisperer, because you do a lot of that too.
Yeah, for sure.
What advice do you think? Maybe 2, 3.
I mean, I know this is probably like one you hear all the time, but it's really don't sweat the small stuff. I mean, hopefully I tell my brides, like, I want to make this a fun process. If you hire me to be your planner, it's going to be fun. It's not going to be stressful. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. So just try to enjoy the process. You know, it is, you know, you want everything to be perfect, and there is a lot of tedious things you have to go over. And especially me, when I get married, I'm going to be like a huge bridezilla. I know it, but because I'm such a control freak and I want to control everything to make sure it's perfect. But, you know, week of the wedding, you just need to let go of that control and just enjoy your time, because it goes so fast. I mean, it will go by like that, and you'll be like, oh, I wish I could just do it again. Or like, you know, you'll be at the wedding and you're like, oh, I didn't even see the cake, or I didn't even see the past like late night snack. Like, you know, it just goes by so fast. So don't sweat the small stuff. In the week of the wedding, just release that control and just try to enjoy the time with family and friends, and enjoy your wedding.
Would you say, like, hire the best wedding vendors, and then that week just trust your people?
Absolutely. I mean, vendors are such a huge part in just do your research for sure. I mean, I know people contemplate hiring a wedding planner, and I know, you know, it's coming from a biased source, but it really is the best money that you can spend is
Hands
someone
down.
that's going to guide you to those vendors that do a good job. And they end up saving you a lot of money in the end too. So,
100%.
you know, the money you're spending on a wedding planner, you'll probably more than likely at least save some of that money,
And
if
time.
not all of it, and time, and a lot of stressing.
Yeah.
A lot of gray hairs.
A lot of that, 100%.
And then, like I said, with the vendors, like, I've had beautiful weddings, you know, like photography is a huge important one, as you know. I've had beautiful weddings, and they hired, you know, some random photographer they didn't really know that much about, and, you know, wasn't even from Charleston, so wasn't really familiar with our venues and area. And it just is sad when you get the photos back, and it's just, you can't even use the photos of a beautiful wedding. You know, it just doesn't do it justice at all. And it just, so, I mean, really, I mean, just, you want to hire good vendors that know what they're doing.
Those are good advice. Because I give them that. I don't give them that week. I said that Thursday before. If you're getting married that Saturday, that Thursday, just after you're meeting with your planner and your key vendors, let go and have fun.
Just let go.
Have a good time.
You're going to have a great time, and no one's going to notice if, you know, your straws were pink and not purple, or, you know,
right.
whatever little thing. No one's going to notice, and you won't even notice.
And that's what the last 6 months is for. It's just basically planning the details. If you're that type A kind of person that you have to be involved and you have to plan and make sure you approve everything, you have the last 6 months to just worry about that. And then that week, just let go, have fun, and trust the process. And things are not going to happen like perfectly. I mean,
never.
I actually didn't get hired one time when I told a bride they were interviewing me, and I was like, dude, your wedding's gonna be chaos, and just having that expectation right now that nothing's gonna be perfect, you're gonna be better off. Yeah. You're gonna have more fun. And I don't think I got hired because I said that, but that was true. You know,
well,
I see it.
It's I've rarely had weddings where everything has gone 100% according to plan. There's always going to be something.
Always.
But if you asked all my brides, I guarantee hardly any of them would say something went wrong, because they didn't know.
Half the time they don't know.
Yeah, they don't. And I don't tell them if something's wrong unless I absolutely have to. So it's just, you know, how you handle it. And but yeah, I mean, they wouldn't even know that their cake was in a wreck on the way to the wedding, and there was
they had to make a second cake.
Yeah, I've had that happen, that the cake was completely messed up, and we had another cake out there. They had no idea.
Or they had a different transportation, or another car, or those are good advice, man. Everyone just gets so caught up in the detail of everything, and sometimes you lose sight of, man, I need to have fun, and just don't worry about it, you know. So you're like kind of like a counselor and therapist as well. So
sometimes I feel like it, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm qualified for that part of my job.
Or like a family counselor sometimes. And
yeah, it is.
Oh man,
Comes with the territory.
All right, so this is like, I tried to look this up. This is weird because I feel like we need to have some wedding guests or wedding parties advice out there. What are some of your top, like, if you were to give an advice to somebody who's going to a wedding or be, let's go to that part first, and then we'll do
to,
what.
like, be a guest at a wedding.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually love this question because this is something I wish I could say more often.
Right.
It's just be respectful. I mean, the stuff that wedding guests have asked me, I'm like, and they invited you to their wedding, like I had one. Okay, we know Boone Hall's the plantation. It's grass and it's sand. You're going to a plantation. I feel like that should be like pretty transparent, but I had someone walk on the front lawn and see that it's sand, and they're like, are they not going to put any floor down on this? And I'm like, did you not read the invitation and see where this was? And I'm just like, it baffles me. And then, you know, they'll come up and be like, why is this only beer and wine? Like, where's the liquor? And I'm like, because they did not want liquor, or, just stuff like that. Or I've had guests wear white to a wedding. Like, that's still a thing. You still can't wear white to a wedding. Like,
Don't wear white.
I had an older couple get married, and she was wearing kind of a short white, like, kind of cream dress. There was someone there literally in almost the same dress. And I'm like, like,
oh, man,
that's way too bridal to wear.
What about like white jackets for guys? Is that okay?
Yeah, definitely. White dinner jackets. I
White
love
dinner
those.
jacket. Yeah, like James Bond. Like,
yeah. No,
but if you're a female, don't wear a white
Do
top,
not wear a
white dress
to a wedding. That's just like,
what if the bridesmaids are all wearing white?
well, that's the bride picked it. That's fine.
But as a guest, don't.
A guest. If you're a guest, do not wear white to a wedding.
Yeah.
I totally put my foot in my mouth one time. There was one of their hair and makeup person came in a white dress, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize you're a vendor. I was like, who's the girl in the white dress? And she was invited as a guest to the wedding as well.
Gosh.
And I was like, oh, oops.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you look great.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So
yeah. I think I've had that happen once. It was weird. It was kind of awkward.
Yeah. And people complain about, why did they get married in August in Charleston? Why did they blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you didn't have to come. Like, they invited you.
Why'd you come?
Yeah, exactly. If you're just going to complain about everything they did,
if you have complaints, just keep it to yourself.
Right. Exactly.
Talk about it at
why
home.
is their ceremony so long? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm just like, be respectful. They wanted you there at their wedding. You obviously mean something to them. Like, just
because it ain't cheap to invite a guest right now.
Absolutely not.
I mean, it's over $100 per person or more.
Yeah. I always tell them, and then when they're on the fence of inviting someone, I was like, would you give them a $100 bill? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, then don't invite them, because that's essentially what you're doing.
Yeah. If you're a guest or going to a wedding, remember that. Yes. Wedding. Yeah. Be respectful. Like, think respect. And when you go to a wedding, think $100 plus. Yeah. Sometimes $250 a person. Sometimes
way more.
Way more. And this is like overall cost of wedding. So be respectful. Stop complaining. If you have something bad or negative to say, keep it to yourself.
Exactly. Or at least wait till you get home.
At least wait till you get home. And respect is a good advice.
Yeah.
I just remember one time, and this is probably one of my biggest pet peeve too, is when guests arrive late.
Oh, yeah.
At ceremonies, especially church ceremonies where everything is so confined, and you have one way into the church and one way out. So it's kind of, I deal a lot with that, where the bride's about to walk down the aisle. Yeah. And they're just like 20 of them are about to just arriving, and I'm looking at the clock. His ceremony's at 6:00, and they're arriving at 6:01. And I'm like, dude, like, get there 30 minutes before.
Oh, right.
Yeah, if the ceremony on your invitation, it says 6:00, get there at 5:30.
Always.
30 minutes. There's no such thing as fashionably late on the ceremony.
No, absolutely not. I had one a couple weeks ago where we were literally, the groomsmen were coming in and these wedding guests were coming down. So we were like, okay, just hang on. We're just going to wait for them. So they get down there, and then everyone is seated. The processional music has started, and they just start standing in the middle of the altar, just talking to everyone, like, have their little pre-ceremony drink, and I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, it's just self-awareness.
This goes back to respect.
Yeah.
Be respectful.
Right.
You don't want to be that guy or that woman. So what about wedding parties? Like, if you're a bridesmaid, for people that are bridesmaids out there, groomsmen.
Like literally same thing, respect. I had a wedding last summer and I was like, we literally were moving 20 feet to take photos and we were going from one area to the other. I was like, okay guys, we're going there, leave your stuff there. And she goes, well, I don't want to walk. I'm like, okay, well then you don't have to be in the photo, I guess. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. And then she's like, well, I'm not coming back to get my stuff. I was like, I will get your stuff for you. Like, I promise, it's fine. I have a golf cart here too that can drive you 10 feet if you really need it. So it's just like, she ended up apologizing later, but it's like, it's not me. I don't care. I just like, this person has chosen you to be in their wedding party.
Right.
Like, you know, I know pictures sometimes can get a little long-winded, but, you know, you're doing it for that person. You know, I know you want to go get a cocktail and some food, but, you know, these pictures are very important and, you know, it's all they have after this day. So just be a good sport about it and you'll get your cocktail eventually. You will get it. So,
yeah, it's
just
basically, it's not about you, right? If you're a wedding party, you're there to support the couple and you were asked and you agreed and just play along with it. I mean, that's the sooner you get those things, responsibilities done, the sooner you can party.
Exactly. I had another one where they were getting their hair and makeup done, and the bridesmaid goes, well, I want to look better than the bride, so, you know, really do me up good, like with my hair and my makeup. Like, I'm just like, ugh. Like, really?
I know.
It's
can't
not
upstage.
about you.
Yeah, it can't upstage the bride.
Yeah.
You got to be kind of like, it's her day.
It's her day. You'll get your
10
time.
hours.
This is her time.
Yeah, it's actually not even 10. I mean, it's 10 hours, but your responsibility ends as soon as you're released from photos.
Yeah.
Then you just do whatever the hell you want.
Exactly.
Man, there's some good advice there. All right, what about vendors? New vendors as a planner? What tactical, actionable advice could you give to, say, new photographers, florists, planners, to essentially get more bookings, get more brides, get more business?
Yeah, I think as a whole, it's a lot about relationships. I think Charleston is such a tight-knit community down here, I've really learned. And like I said earlier, once I find a good vendor for something, like I will give you a ton of business because I just I know you do a good job. Like for an officiant, I have my officiant I love and I will constantly book him. Like he's my go-to. So I think once you have those relationships, you work with people, y'all work good together, y'all know how to work together. I think that
you don't cause any problems.
Yeah, you don't cause, there's always maybe sometimes problems, but it's how you handle it and how you work together and with it, through it. And so I think, relationships, go out there, get your name out there. You're new, you don't have those relationships yet, so make those relationships, even if you can't get a wedding together immediately, like say, well, let's do a shoot together, or let's, just get to know the people out there because they'll keep you in your mind, you in their mind. And once you make those relationships, really the repeat business is there usually. So
that's good advice. Very good advice. What about like the new people that are just starting out? The new vendors that are just starting out, same thing.
Yeah, same thing. You just got to get your name out there. You got to, go out there and put yourself out there and try to make as many contacts as you can. And like I said, doing those like shoots or just small stuff around town, like can really, make a difference. And, have something, physical to show with, like this is the service I offer. If I'm a photographer, I haven't done a wedding yet, but here are some other shoots and other things I've done so you can see my style, Same thing with like a lighting company, like I know I haven't done lighting in the cotton dock before, but here are some other weddings I've done where you can see the like quality of my work, I guess. So It's just, you got to put yourself out there.
So as far as vendors, while we're on that track, so Boone Hall, you plan for Boone Hall, but at the same time, other wedding planners are welcome to work at Boone Hall. Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So like, there's a ton of wedding planners that plan weddings there. You're kind of like, you serve as a venue, you coordinate. Yeah,
so I coordinate anyone that books their wedding there. I'm their venue coordinator, but some of them choose to bring in their own planner, which is totally fine. They're not required to use me. So we work on more of a venue capacity in that sense if they have an outside planner. And then
and what's your job there? You show them and then they just kind of take over?
Yeah, I'm there to I'll show them the venue, do the contract, do the booking, and then I'm there to answer any questions along the way. And there's a lot. So we do, like I said, 150 weddings. So I constantly am in just answering questions about the venue, answering questions to the wedding planner, all the vendors, I'm there as their kind of person to represent Boone Hall.
Yeah.
And Boone Hall's interest. And then, like I said, to 15 to 20 a year, they'll hire me full service. And then I do everything. I'm planning their menu, their budget, consulting, logistics, design.
Is that the same with other vendors like florists and caterers and stuff? Like anybody can bring their own people there, or they have to be somebody approved?
Well, catering and bars we've moved to a preferred list. We do ask that you choose from our list, but we still have about 5 different companies on there. So
because you can't just have Aunt Sally's catering company.
Right.
There.
We don't have an on-site kitchen, so logistically it's really tough to work in our facility. So we need people that know what they're doing and
have the resources
but they also are protecting Boone Hall. It is, a historic property, so we try to preserve that as much as possible. So, but that's really
with catering and bar.
Catering and bar is the preferred list. We would ask that you choose from, but then we have a recommended list. But for photographers, florists, rental companies, but you don't have to choose from that list. So.
Right, you can bring in your own.
You can bring in your own.
Yeah, because catering is such a big deal. I mean, I've seen crew bring in trucks and trucks and then they have a makeshift kitchen.
Yeah,
and tents.
They bring everything they need, so they're still preparing that food on site. So if you have fried green tomatoes, they're going to be crunchy and fried and delicious. So.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
All right. So those are awesome advice. All right. I don't know if I emailed you about this portion, but this is kind of fun.
I'm scared. Okay.
But before we do that, let's dig in some more food.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to eat some more lime rice.
Go for it.
Is.
It's green, so lime rice.
Yeah.
Lime rice.
That's what I'm going with. It kind of tastes like a cereal. I'm trying to think of what it tastes like.
You know what's funny the other day? Because of the royal wedding coming up, I was talking to Claire. I was talking to my wife Courtney last night too, or this morning actually. I was like, Claire, have you been invited to a wedding? And she's like, no, actually we were talking about wedding. I don't think I've asked her. And she just kind of butted in our conversation. Me and Courtney were talking. She was like, I've never been invited to a wedding before. I go, oh yeah. So with this YouTube videos that I'm showing like behind the scenes when I'm working, they actually, like they're watching it and they're like, is that what you do, Daddy? What are you doing? Where are you there? They're like really watching it, right? And then, she said, I've never been invited to a wedding before. I was like, oh man, we got to change that.
Yeah.
Like me shooting 40 weddings a year, you're bound to be invited in one of those.
Yeah.
So Courtney this morning, she said, well, it's the royal wedding this weekend. Do you think we should do something? Like, like a family thing? I was like, well,
that's so fun.
what time's the wedding? Well, she was like, well, you have to wake up at like 5 a.m. because the wedding's at like noon.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. Like
Monday
we have to wake the children up on a Saturday at noon, like where they sleep until 10. So I think we're going to do something. It'll be funny.
Oh, that's sweet.
So, yeah. Are you going to watch the royal wedding this weekend?
I know. I'm kind of over it, to be honest.
Are you really?
I'm just over the
Why?
hype.
Oh, you know what? I haven't really seen a whole lot of coverage because I haven't been on TV or watching TV, but you've probably been seeing it a lot.
I don't know if I'm a huge Meghan Markle fan. It's probably because I'm just jealous, but
I know, because you could have had a prince when you were in London.
I know. I should have.
You kind of look like her, actually.
That's what people say.
Yeah.
Well,
I think you should cut your hair like hers and
Yeah.
darken it a little bit.
Their first interview, they were like, what did you first think when you were going on a date with Harry? And she's like, I thought, is he kind? I'm like, that is not your first thought.
What you're, yeah.
Like, come on, let's be honest
yeah,
here.
come on, just be real for a little bit.
Right, it just seemed a little too phony to me.
A little political here.
I guess I'm being a little pessimistic right now. But
I know. Is he kind? Is he going to save
That's
the
like,
world
that is
with
not
me?
your first thought.
Yeah.
Your first thought is, I could be a princess.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a princess.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh my, yeah.
I know, like, be real.
Come on now, yeah.
So, too funny.
I don't know if, I think Claire's going to want to watch it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to her tonight.
Well, DVR and send it to me because I'm definitely not getting up that early.
Definitely video that. Yeah. With this YouTube channel, it's like I have to bring a camera everywhere. It's weird sometimes. But all right. So, top 10 things to know about Natalie. This is that portion. But you have to answer it real fast when I answer the question. So we're almost
I have to answer it fast? Okay.
Yeah. Talk real fast. You can't think.
Okay. I'm scared.
I know. Don't be scared. You're scared. You got to be honest too.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, this is the 2, 4, 6, 7. I know I said top 10 things, but I kind of added some wedding stuff in here too, and then top 10 things first to know about Natalie. All right. All right. Here we go.
All right.
Weddings. Intimate or big ass wedding?
Big ass wedding.
First look or no?
Yes.
Oh, by the way, first look, if you're listening out there, first look is when the bride and groom see each other before the ceremony, if you're not familiar. And it's been like 50-50 for me. I don't know about Natalie. People ask me all the time, what do you think? What do I think? I said yes to first look. Logistical reasons.
Yeah. You get more photos.
You get more photos. Plus, when it's like you're getting married in the winter, in January, February, December, the sun here, when you get to Boone Hall, it's dark at like 5 o'clock.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so it's always good to just, do it.
Love it.
All right. Sit down dinner or stations?
Stations.
Band or DJ?
Band.
For sure. Big wedding party or small wedding party?
Probably small wedding party.
What's a small wedding party?
Like 5 or under.
5 or under.
I just had one where it's like 14 on each side, which I mean, I guess it just depends. I don't have a big.
I almost had a wedding that
either
had 22 bridesmaids.
Holy cow, that's insane.
I love this family so bad. I'm glad her mom talked her out of it.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But that would have been fun though, 22.
I mean, it's fun, but it's just that like your processional is going to be like 30 minutes.
That's the thing that people don't think about.
Yeah.
Ceremony starts at 6. That means you got to walk the grandmothers, the moms. Next thing you know, by the time you walk down the aisle, it's 6:30.
Yeah, for sure.
Suit or tux?
Tux.
Black or white jacket?
I love white dinner jacket.
Is there a rule for white dinner jacket?
I think technically it's more of like a summer thing, but I love like a winter white. Like I'm not one that follows that fashion rule. You can't wear white until, Easter or whatever. So, and especially living in Charleston, like I think you can do it whenever. I think a winter white jacket is like very
Is
suave.
it white jacket for groom only or for everybody?
I've seen wedding parties do everyone. I think it's nice. I think it depends. I don't have a huge preference.
What about suit?
I mean, it's like a wedding. I think that,
This would be formal, black tie.
Yeah. I mean, how many times do you get to wear tux?
I know.
It's fun. Wear
And
tux.
it's so beautiful to see everyone in black ties, right?
Yeah. I love it.
I guess it's all about the vibe of what you're looking for,
Totally.
right?
And, conduct's pretty laid back. So if you want to do suits are fine. But tuxes are, I think, kind of fun.
So when you wear the white jacket, do you do a white shirt or ivory shirt? Or do you match it? Or
So I think most dinner jackets aren't really white. They're a little off-white. So you have to be very careful to what color your dress is because one of them can look kind of yellow. So you just have to kind of be careful when planning that. But usually it's a white shirt. So
cool. Socks or no socks for guys?
I kind of into like the no socks. Like I kind of like it. It's Charleston-y to me, like very Southern.
I've seen that a lot.
Yeah.
Video or no video? This is huge.
Video. If your budget allows it, definitely do a video.
Definitely. The best video that you can afford, right?
Yes.
All right. So this is personal right here, Natalie. Ooh.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Man. Be scared. All right. We're going to go touch into some culture here first.
Okay.
Yanni or Laurel?
Laurel.
Did you just hear that yesterday?
I just heard it, I think today.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, what is everyone talking about? And then I finally saw it. I was like, I don't know how they are hearing Yanni or whatever it is. It's
Instagram
Laurel.
or Snapchat?
Instagram.
What about Facebook?
It's outdated.
Yeah, it is.
Older people are using Facebook. I feel like the young people are more Instagram.
You know what's funny? I think older people are starting to migrate towards Instagram.
Are they?
I think.
I don't want my parents on there.
I know. Oh, your parents are not on Instagram?
They just got a Facebook. Well, my dad did, so.
They
steps.
just got Facebook?
Yeah.
They're reading everything, right? Instead of just like scrolling real fast.
I don't even think they know how to
This
use
is
it.
how like young people scroll, and
Yeah.
then old people are like, ooh, ads. Ooh, pictures.
Oh, my grandmother has.
And then they have to comment at everything.
I know. And then my grandmother just got a Facebook, and we laughed so hard because I don't think she realized she's putting statuses up, and it says like, and then it says like I can't, and then
That is hilarious.
I think she's texting her something that we like die laughing.
I think I'm gonna do a YouTube channel with like old people looking at Facebook.
Yeah.
I need to find.
That might be a long one.
I know that would be a long one. All right, NFL or NCAA?
NCAA.
ACC or SEC?
SEC, duh.
Boo. Snooze or get right up?
Oh, snooze like 30 times.
For sure. Coke or Pepsi?
Coca-Cola. I went to Georgia. We drink Coke and we fly Delta.
Something about Coke that I love. Hip hop or country?
I can't choose both.
Both.
I like them both.
So if you had a rapper name and it starts with Lil, what would it be?
Lil Natty Light.
That's like a beer, right?
Yeah, that'd be my rapper name. Lil Natty Light.
Who's your favorite rapper or hip hop artist?
You're probably gonna laugh. I really love Ja Rule.
That was like 1995.
Yeah, but I still really love him. I just think his voice is very soothing, and he's got like that deep voice. And I actually met him in New York a couple of years ago.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he is. I saw him in New York. I think he just gotten out of jail when I saw him. So
he went to jail.
That's what I heard. I didn't really look into it, but him and Lil Wayne. But everyone loves Lil Wayne. But I love Ja. Ja's my boy.
That's hilarious. I had never thought that was gonna come out of you. I thought you were gonna say like Drake or like.
I know, it's so cliche.
Post Malone or.
No, Ja Rule.
What's your favorite color?
Blue probably.
And what apps do you like to use?
Like
it could
on my
be
phone?
one or two. Yeah.
Like what I use most often. Is that what?
Yeah.
Honestly, probably Weather Underground. Just being a wedding planner, I'm looking at that. Like
Weather Underground. Mm-hmm. That's a weather app.
Yeah, it's the best weather app.
You don't use Dark Sky?
Weather Underground. So honestly, that's probably that's Starbucks. Probably what I use most often, to be honest.
Starbucks app is awesome because you can order and then you just literally roll up. Well, do you have to go to the drive-through?
It just depends if I'm being lazy or if I'm in a hurry. Like I'll just go through the drive-through and say I'm picking up a mobile order.
Oh, cool. So you don't have to go inside.
No.
And then you pay it on the app,
your phone,
so you don't have to wait.
Yeah, I know. You get rewards. You get free coffee.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. I need to try that. Any other apps? What's the last app that you downloaded? Do you know?
Probably like to shopping addiction, like Revolve and Shop.
Revolve?
Yeah, they're clothing companies. So
that's smart. If they're like, if you're like a retailer, gotta have an app.
And I like to travel, so I use like Kayak and TripAdvisor and those apps a lot. Momondo, I think is what it's called, is like a really good like app for like flights and stuff like that.
How do you spell that?
It's Momondo. Momondo. I don't know how to say it.
That's a travel app?
Yeah, it's like where you can find really cheap flights. So you just kind of put your favorite flights, and so yeah, those aren't that interesting ones. But
what about Tinder?
I do not have Tinder. I'm really bad at Tinder and Bumble, so I don't
stay away, guys.
I can't be so witty and charming on text. Like, you have to meet me in person.
Natalie's single, y'all, so find a way to have a job in Boone Hall to meet her.
High expectations.
Yeah. What's your favorite movie?
The Count of Monte Cristo.
What the heck is that? I've never heard of that.
I know a lot of people don't know.
This is like 1920s?
It's Jim Caviezel's in it. It's based on a book, and it's this guy. It's I think it's based in France, and he is kind of like a ship person, so he's not like high in society, and he gets kind of framed for something, so he goes to prison for like 30 years, and he comes back and he gets like revenge on everyone that did him wrong, and it's just fantastic.
Sounds really interesting.
Yeah, you put it on your list.
It's like a romance?
There's some romance to it for sure, and it's just it's
How
really
is that
good.
your favorite movie?
I just love it. I don't know. It's always been my favorite. Put it on your list. You'll thank me later.
I will definitely put that on my list for my one night when no kids were around and it was just me and my wife.
Yeah.
Beer or wine?
Wine for sure.
iPhone or Samsung?
iPhone. Who has Samsung?
I know, right? Mac or PC?
I'm a PC person. I wish I was a Mac person. I would love to be a Mac person, but I'm not there yet.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you were like a complete Mac person.
No.
Well, all right. So
How
our
did I do?
podcast is now coming to an end. I thought you did amazing.
Good.
I want to thank you for coming all the way to Somerville. I know that Wando Bridge is causing a lot of headaches to a lot of people.
It's ruining my life.
I know it's ruining a lot of people's lives and businesses because it's shut down. But thank you so much for coming all the way here.
Thanks
It took
for
you
having
forever,
me.
I'm sure, and you're such a rock star. And I love working with you. I love being at Boone Hall. So thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the delicious food.
We've got one more portion of the podcasts that I want to ask you to do. So this one is, you got about 15 seconds or so right now. Take this opportunity to promote whatever you want to promote, Boone Hall, whatever. Take it away.
All right. So like Virgil said, follow me at Boone Hall Weddings. You'll see all kind of different weddings and events, and can give you some different ideas. Even if you're not getting married at Boone Hall, can give you some fun design decor ideas, vendor ideas. We'll see a lot of photographer pictures on there. And then, Boone Hall, we got a concert coming up this summer, Kip Moore on July 1st. So if you're into country music, you come out and see us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was coming. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So that concludes our podcast, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. There's going to be a YouTube version of this interview, so stay tuned. If you have any ideas, anybody that you think I should interview, let me know. DM me, message me, inbox me, email me, whatever, text, send a pigeon, or whatever, a telegram or a fax. Let me know. I would love to interview as many people that are awesome as possible. But thank you again for listening. And that's it for now. Bye. Thanks, Natalie.
Bye.
See you later.
Thank you.